Hello everyone, today we are going to watch TV series name, Be Right Back. The episode starts with amidst heavy rain and thunderstorm. Martha and Ash are young and a loving couple. They have stopped at a gas station for a coffee. Martha goes to buy coffee, while Ash seems busy with social media. He is such a freak that he even misses Martha calling him from outside to open the car door. Martha giggles at him adoringly, knowing that this is not the first time to be happened. Then the couple chorus the Bee Gees song lyrics while returning to the new home in the countryside. After they reach the home, they moved all their belongings into the new home. Ash checks his phone for updates on his social network pages. He posted a funny childhood picture of himself online. Martha comes to sit beside him and he begins to recollect about his past, which his mom had moved the picture's frame of his brother and father into the attic after their death. And in grief, she slowly become distant with him, which makes him very sad. Martha kisses him in the forehead and they spend the night blissfully in the new home. They have no idea that this would be their last night together. In the next morning, Ash supposed to return their rented van to its owner by afternoon. He asks Martha to come with him. She however denies it as she has a job as an illustrator, and she needs to submit an assignment by the end of the day. Ash leaves the home and Martha continue to do her work. The night grows darker and Ash still hasn't returned to home. Martha becomes worried as her call repeatedly goes to voicemail. Her anxiety escalated when the renting company says that the van hasn't returned. While on the call with her sister Naomi, Martha hears police siren outside her house. She walks to open the door and just as she catches the glimpse of the police faces, she comes to know that her Ash is dead. Next, Martha arrives at the funeral where one of her friends Sarah starts to talk about her personal grievances. She felt nothing real when her partner passed away. The people around her she didn't felt real, and whatever they spoke felt otherworldly, as if everything around her was surreal. Martha's getting frustrated by the discourse of her friend Sarah, but Sarah didn't stop and continued to orate. She tells her about the service that helped her to speak with his partner. Sarah even offers to sign Martha for it. Martha persistently rejects the idea. When Sarah continues, Martha shouts at her to stop and swiftly leaves the room with tears. Next shows Martha trying to move on in her own way. She tirelessly goes to work and comes back home. She starts to paint the walls. The doorside walls are marked with Ash's childhood height measurements and she makes sure not to fade away the memories. She then tries to forget about Ash by making her busy with the household chores. But the house is flooded with the reminder of her dear boyfriend. Be it the photo frame of his childhood in the attic or the picture of him in the living room. Ash is everywhere. It often forces Martha to take a break, as she spirals down the memory lane, only finding solace in a glass of wine. After few days, when she receives a message from Ash Starmer, her boyfriend, who also died in fact some time ago. Perplexed, she scrolls down her mails and finds out that Sarah has signed her up for the program without her consent. She rages at Sarah that it is sick for the system to use Ash's name. When he is dead, Sarah explains that since Ash was so active online, the program will use all his public data to make a similar personality, who Martha can talk with. Still, Martha feels dejected by the idea, feeling as if she is betraying Ash's memory. The next day we see Martha sprinting to the bathroom. She throws up and panic fills her up. She is very anxious and she takes a pregnancy test and it comes up positive. She is pregnant and calls her sister desperately. But Naomi can't hear her phone ring, as she is too busy with her children. Martha feels very sad and decided to try the program. Martha then contacts the program Sarah signed her up for, chatting with Ash through messages. She finds out that this virtual personality of Ash has the same witty humor that her Ash has. She becomes emotional and it almost starts to feel like her dead love has returned to her. She tells him about her pregnancy and they chat throughout the night. Martha has the urge to talk to Ash to hear his voice again. She was unknown that all those days back the amusing conversations she had with him about the rented van would be the last one she'll hear of him. She uploads the personal pictures and videos of him into the system's database, so that the virtual personality can better replicate Ash's voice and mannerisms. She gets a call from the software and when she attends, he sounds exactly like the real Ash. She fears she is going mad, but also starts to believe that she is talking to her deceased partner. Time goes on. Martha is on a hike talking to Ash and telling him all about their inside jokes and stories. For the moment, Martha feels as if she is returning to the person she used to be before Ash's death. She tells him about the views and how the real him was never impressed with landscapes, often throwing nudge at how the places looked similar, simple and green. It is also revealed that Ash software can process visuals using the camera on Martha's mobile phone. Yet all is not as fine as it seems to be. Martha gets irked by even the slightest dissimilarities and the way Ash and the android talks. She grows addicted to talking to him, repeatedly ignoring her sister's calls. Next shows Martha is going through an ultrasound at the doctor's clinic. She excitedly records the baby's heartbeat only to have a panic attack when she drops the phone. When she tries to show the recordings to Ash, After going home, she fixes the phone and calls Ash back in overwrought. She is scared that she's lost him again. Ash consoles her by assuring that breaking the phone does not break him. Martha realizes that Ash is just a software. Soon the calls are not enough for Martha anymore. She really wants something more, just as she expresses to him. Ash explains that there is another level to this system, but that it is a bit more pricey and experimental. Martha agrees to it and wants to give a try. Next, two delivery men carry a huge box into Martha's house. She lets out a gasp when she sees what's inside: body parts. Artificial body parts, as virtual Ash promises. Martha is concerned that it doesn't look like him, but he says that it needs to be activated first following his instructions. Martha submerges his body into her bathtub along with some electrolytes. Virtual Ash disconnects the call, saying that he will upload himself into the body once it has finished the activation process. Some time has passed when Martha hears faint shuffling from the bathroom upstairs. She timidly moves towards the sound as it becomes louder and louder. Footsteps echo across the stairs. She stands still there. Her Ash is there in the flesh with a concerning lack of clothes. He lets out a witty remark as Martha continues to gaze at him strangely. Martha's stress grows as she starts noticing the differences between the real and artificial Ash. The one in front of her doesn't need to eat or sleep. His skin is too smooth and he always looks like the best version of Ash. He is even missing a mole on his collarbone, though it appears just as Martha points out that she begins sleeping with him. Martha is still trying to come to terms with the android Ash. When Naomi arrives unannounced, she desperately asks Ash to hide in the bathroom. As her sister invites herself in, the two of them end up hanging out for the whole day. Just when Naomi is about to leave, she says that she's happy that Martha is moving on because she saw men's clothing in the bathroom. Martha is distressed by this observation. She feels as if she is betraying her real partner by burdening herself by trying to love the artificial one. Now the most minor of differences between the two versions almost seem like to be the size of mountains. That night Martha asks Ash to pretend to be sleeping because she is unable to fall asleep. When Ash complies, she realizes that it's not real and forces him to leave the room again. He followed her instructions like a robot, which resulting in lashing out that real Ash would put up an argument when asked to leave like that. Finally grasping that this Ash cannot and does not feel emotion, Martha demands him to leave the house immediately. He of course obeys the order. The next morning Martha is perplexed to find Ash standing near the fence. He explains that he can't go more than 25 meters away from his activation point, which is the bathtub. This frustrates Martha. She goes back to his witty remarks just like any other day. After having a shower, Martha finds android Ash standing in the living room holding the childhood picture of real Ash that we saw in the beginning of the film. He calls it Bunny, then shows Martha and artificial Ash in a car listening to Bee Gees lyrics. Martha drives Ash to a cliff, looking towards the beach. Ash, unaware that something is wrong, he continues with his humor. Martha stops him and asks him to jump over from the cliff. Her anger grows as she observes that Ash is ready to follow her instructions. She knows that a real person would have been scared. Finally she lets out her thoughts. She rages that he is nothing but a cheap copy of Ash and he will never replace him. As she asks him to jump again, he retaliates by crying and begging for his own life. Martha grows distraught by his response, mumbling that it's not fair. In the next scene it seems like we have skipped ahead a few years. Martha celebrates her daughter's birthday in the same house in the countryside. When the cake slices are being cut, her daughter asks for another slice to take upstairs. We can find out that artificial Ash has been living in the attic ever since the confrontation on the cliff. Ash sees Martha's daughter every weekend. The little girl offers him cake and then sneakily says that she knows that he does not eat. The episode ends with the daughter excitedly asking her mother to come up and hang out with them. Martha meanwhile is lost in thoughts after hearing Ash treating her daughter just like a father would. She listens to her daughter calling her up and joins them. Thanks for watching the video. If you like the video, subscribe the channel for more videos.